Hi there, I'm Miss Benton. Today I want to talk to you about animals in art. I'm going to show you some different artworks. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the artist who produced those, and a little bit later in some different lessons we're going to be drawing some animals. So I hope you enjoy. Animals in art. The first artist we're going to talk about is Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse was born in 1869 in France. As a young man, he traveled to Paris to study law. At age 21, he had appendicitis and had a long recovery in the hospital after surgery. To give him something enjoyable to do, his mother gave him a paint box. That was when he decided to become an artist. He studied at an art school in Paris. His first teacher told him he would never learn to draw, but he was determined to succeed. He painted still lifes and landscapes and saw the result of his hard work come to fruition when 5 years later he exhibited 5 of his paintings. The state purchased 2 of them. The first work of his we're going to look at is entitled The Cat with Red Fishes in 1914. Henri produced several of these paintings of goldfish in a bowl. One thing you may notice in his artwork is he was able to use a lot of pattern in his work. Here, the wallpaper is filled with blue shapes. We also see an open window full of flowers in the foreground, leading off to mountains in the background. The space behind the table is also filled with a zigzag pattern. And to the left of the table, we see colorful shapes that fill the space. Henri Matisse is called Interior with a Dog in 1934. In this painting, we see a sleeping dog. Here again, years later, Matisse still fills his painting with his patterns. The dog's bed, the tile floor. Each wall is covered with a pattern, and one wall has 2 patterns, one on top of the other. He fills the space and makes it very interesting. Our next artist is Franz Marc. Franz Marc was a German painter in 1880 in Munich. He was born. He was a founding member of the Blue Rider Group. They were artists who wanted to express truth through their art. They wanted to promote the connection between art and music, and they believed in the symbolism of color and a spontaneous approach to painting. Her house, Casa Azul, Blue House in Mexico City. Of her 143 paintings, 55 are self-portraits, which feature her treasured animals and incorporate symbols into her artwork. One of her most famous is her self-portrait with monkeys from 1943. In this work, Kahlo is surrounded by 3 black spider monkeys, their arms wrapped around her. She portrayed them as tender and protective symbols. Her pet primates were a spider monkey named Fulong Chang, a gift from her husband, and another, Camito de Global. In other works, she shows her belief in the connection between humans and the natural world. She shows a ribbon entwining herself and her pet monkeys, her dog, Senor Lesotho, and a pre-Columbian idol. The Dog Mosaic of Pompeii. This mosaic of a guard dog, one of several in Pompeii, is on the floor of the entrance hall to the house of the tragic poet. They were used for decoration and to show people how rich you were. Roman mosaics were also very strong surfaces for walking on and were sometimes used as signs or for advertising. This piece was buried under 13 to 20 feet of volcanic ash and pumice in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79. Next, we have the work of the American painter and illustrator Norman Rockwell. He was most famous for his cover illustrations of everyday life he created for the Saturday Evening Post. He would often include dogs in his scenes of the American family life. His dog was a mutt named Pitter, who would often join him in the studio while he painted. And last, we have Felix Schlesinger. He was a painter of genre scenes who was born in Hamburg, Germany in October of 1833. He lived for several years in Paris before finally settling in Munich. In his scene, we see 3 children feeding rabbits. Again, he was a genre painter. He painted scenes of everyday life back in the times that he lived in.